kyekiriwo mu Busoga.
Tukwaniriza mu podcast efe ekiriwo lunaku lwa leero nate twidde tusobola okuba nga tuwaya ku nsonga ed'endawulo. Buli omu awaayo ebiseera bye ni data we yasobola okuba nga atubona. Thank you so much mwe bali kutwekuumirako. Tubasuubiza nti bingi tubireeta era nga tukaleeta ate n'olwaleero tuleese ebiyaka. Twenda baidukiza nti we ayenda otubona okyayira social media handles dhaife Facebook Mama Kalibala, TikTok Swengere Family Official, then Instagram Wedata Mswengere Family Official, ate nga ku YouTube Oidata Mkyekiriwo. Weda kubanga buterefu otubona bulungi. Tubawo twetania ensonga ed'endawulo. N'olwaleero twidde tusobola okubanga tuwayanze. Mwene bantazakia mba niba nange bwe tuwaya ona kolaleero ndikola ni pato. Ajja balamusaako lwa nsonga nti tulina omugeni ow'endawulo. Aye nga ate ni mudduka ki aliyo era nga ali producing sheno pato olyote.
Ndi bulungi nnyo.
Kwaniriza olwaleero lamusa abantu baife.
Webale eno era nsiima ina abatubona.
Okay. Iwa mweta pato. Tute bwe tubaawo mudduka kyena atera okubaawo. Olwaleero nga bwe tubakuba nti olwisi tuba n'abagenyi ab'endawulo betuwaya nabo era nga olwaleero tulina omugeni gwe tujja okuba nga tuwaya naye ayina ensonga de dayidde okwandula kubanga dide ayina plans de diri mu maiso. However olunaku olwaleero tumwidi nga speaker wa Jinja City omukulu Mbayo Benard gwe tulina wano podcast efe kyekiriwo olunaku olwaleero. Mwami Mbayo tusangaire.
Webale ino, my sister Zakia.
Okay.
I want to start by thanking you for having me. It's not easy sobola okunta mu schedules daimwe. I must thank you very much for inviting me and having me this evening.
Tweyanziza. Mwami Mbayo ono tumwenda ino kubanga n'abakulembeze abalitwala ekibuga Idinda. So mu byonna byonna tukwetaaga kuba eno Idinda tulingirire mu abakulembeze baife nimu abatuwa ekiriwo nimu abatukobera nimu abalina okobera abantu what is happening in Jinja. Awone otidde okubanga tutandikira omuntu bw'awulira Bernard Mbayo nani?
Okay, webale ino. Bernard Mbayo, I was born 50 years ago.
Okay.
On the 20th of September 1974 mu Jinja Hospital. Nasomera ku Kira Nursery Primary School. Eri right opposite Narambai Road Primary School. Era bwe natuuka mu primary, I only crossed over to Narambai Road Primary School. Nabayo till 1987, and in 1988 I joined Jinja College School. Erubaga Waigulu Wale. It's a Catholic school. It was a very, very interesting school. So I literally grew up there. Mbayo, after moving about and having been a national team player over tennis, I ended up at St. James in my probably third term of my senior 5, and then concentrated on my A-levels. My A-levels in 1994 at St. James Senior Secondary School. Interesting enough, and of a lot of interest, as I must say, was our headmaster Omwami, the late Krupp Yali Musada Muyindi. A very, very interesting individual, very strict, and a parent that helped us a lot to transform us into the people that we are today at that school. Yeah, probably the only years I have been away from Jinja are the years I spent at Makere. Ate Wenamalawo, I quickly and during school anyway at the university I was able to find a job.
Ololi Makere osoma course ki?
Nsoma Bachelor's of Business Administration.
Okay.
So I was able to find a job with Capital FM. So I am part of a story that pioneered FM stations in Uganda. Because then we had only 2 FM stations in Kampala.
Yes.
Huge as it is, we only had Sanyu FM and Capital FM. Yeah. So up country we only had Voice of Toro in Fort Portal, where I later worked for a couple of months after I returned from England. So
ndi connecting business administration and journalism, what were you doing at the radios?
I'll tell you that when I found the job at Capital FM, I was a producer, but I started as a research assistant. It was, we had stayed at school during the third term of our first year in Livingstone Hall. So we all chose stay at school, you know, thinking that we would be able to stay at university. Twajetanga mufa. So we all moved to Lumumba Hall, ngatulowooza nti we would stay there illegally in one way or the other, in the halls and doing our own things because we didn't want to go home worrying constraints in terms of where we would go in the evening. And so at some point we ran out of money. And as a group of friends, Mwav Michael, my friend Julius Renzo, he now lives in Arizona, and Davis Kima, he lives in London, the engineer Frank Magova, he just passed on recently, and we buried him about 2 weeks ago. All of us were in school that time. An architect friend of mine, Michael Batanude, senior architect in Kampala, refused to go home and stayed in Lumumba Hall, hoping that we would be able to have the entire October from September and all that into December and then begin the next term. But we ran out of money, and someday I woke up and told my friends that ndikuja mu town to find a job so that we can feed each other. So I walked into Capital FM. I asked for the news editor. Bali bamweta Richard Mulondo, he passed on, unfortunately. He was a Musoga. So I said to him, I am a student of Makerere University. I need a job here. I am coming here. I think I can add value to this radio station. He was amazed. So he said,
why in all places? Because we're waking up, wavaayo wakubotikanje noni omulimo.
Because
I'll
tell you something. Because we grew up in a family. I grew up with friends of mine that had been operating a mobile disco. So we loved the whole idea of music. So when I walked into Capital FM, I knew what music was about. And so when they called the white man, he was called Hugh Gales. He was the PD of Capital FM then. I spoke to him straight, looking into his face, and he said, "You're a very interesting young man." And Yamala Yankoba auntie, okay, you'll have to check on me in about a week. I don't have any work for you, but you're going to. But then he asked me, what do you think you can add here? And now Mukoba auntie did a lot of jazz music. I know a lot of jazz music. You have Dr. Jazz, done by Alan Cantankerous. Yes. I think I can come and produce that show. I can add the information to this guy, much as I will not broadcast, but he will be there to send the message or the information that I'll give him about who produced the song, when it was done, the history of the song. I know a lot of jazz music. So he said, please check on me in a week's time. When in that week, amazingly, there is a place that fell vacant in a company, a research company called International Music Group. A company yali ngane research because Capital FM does their productions based on research. What do people want to listen to? So we would go out there, interview people, come back with that information, and then feed it into the database to a selector computer that would choose the music depending on what the people want to listen to. So that is why at some point people thought then, before the management changed, Capital was overplaying certain songs. But they were overplaying those songs because people wanted to listen to them. So we would go to a place and be able to find out exactly what time people listen to radio to most, what kind of music they want to listen to, because we would sample songs for them. So I first began by doing that. And I remember that time, I was getting paid about 170,000 Uganda shillings. It was a lot of money. I am talking about 1995, 1995, 96, 97. So it was a lot of money. Every Friday,
every Friday?
Yes. So then I would go back to Makerere as a parent.
Was a lot of money.
It was a lot of money, yes.
Very.
It was a lot of money. And I remember in my second year, we sat down with my friends and said, can we buy a car now? because we can't be going out by bus, because then you remember places like Angenois, then Passations, Vibrations, all those were nightclubs in Kampala that would send buses to Freedom Square at Makerere to pick students to take them to their nightclubs. So you would pay 500 shillings, go to the nightclub, and then
they drop you back.
So then we said we must buy our own car. So we bought our own car, and we were able to go out to drive out because we had the fuel and I had the money to buy the car. So all my friends looked up to me as their father in one and the savior. So in the beginning, it was for purposes of survival. But again, when I began now to climb ranks in the radio, things began to change because I was extremely committed. I was very, very easy to catch, because even when there was an emergency at the station, later on, I would be called from Makerere to go and handle that emergency. Okay. So the white people were quite amazed by the way I was doing things. Now, towards the end of the course, I then was able to be sent to England to the consultant radio, Air Capital FM here, then Bajeta 95.8, AD Leicester Square, to train for 6 months on an exchange program. Now, of course, having found a lot of my friends in England and in London in particular, I was not able to return on time, because then my bosses, Mr. Prt1 and William Pike, Bali were getting disappointed because I had let them down. I had been trained, now I couldn't come back. But of course, well aware that I was a young man, Bali, they were able to understand. I regret at some point, but that's what life is. That's what it is, And I ended up overstaying there. And when I returned, I then got a consultancy job with Toro, Voice of Toro, FM, owned by by the then premier wa Toro, Mwami Katwiramu. I worked there for 8 months, but it was extremely difficult working there, because even the road from Mubende to Fort Portal was a Maram road. Then was the time when Celtel was launching in Uganda. About 98, 99, they were beginning to operate in Uganda, but the phones were only able to find network in Kampala and these surrounding areas, Kampala, metropolitan Kampala. Yes. Now, in Fort Portal, even to send announcements to go on radio from Kampala to us at the station in Fort Portal, we used to use a radio, I don't know what they call it, but these radios, you say over, please, you read the announcement, you read one word by one, and then
radio we would calls?
Yes, radio calls, yes. And then we were able to compile. Now, at some point, I just left that place and I didn't go back, because you remember I had been away from my parents and my family for a long time, and then I was coming back to a place where I couldn't even speak to them on telephone. So I just left, and that is how I again was able to return to Jinja to begin life here. Yeah.
Okay. Mukuwaya kukona ndi kunonia political angle eri kwidira mtirijibona. When did you get the idea? When did you pick the interest of being into politics? Because nkwidi nti you're one of the long-serving councillors. Bisanda bisatu oli kuserving as a councillor. Kitegeza nti oyina background ye ya politics. Where did you get the vibe of politics?
Now, this is exactly how I joined politics. When I went to Jinja College,
yes,
nayagana yo omusada yebeta Harry Kasigwa, the Honorable Harry Kasigwa.
Yali wa Jinja West.
Yali mu Jinja West. Yes. Now into his own businesses. Yeah, Harry Kasigwa was many classes ahead of me at college. But because we had grown up in this same environment here, Jinja, we quickly made friends, great friends at that place. I was really young, and he was probably in his senior 5, but we used to hang out a lot together at school. So when Harry left Jinja College and went to Makerere, yali mu Nkrumah Hall, and as we were getting into Makerere, Harry Kasigwa yali afuluime mu university. But of course he kept coming back to university to check on his friends, you know, knowing how addictive Makerere and amazing Makerere was then. So he kept coming back to check on his friends, and then we would be able to meet. Now, when the Honorable Harry Kasigwa left Makerere, of course we know that he came and made a councillor at the municipality, a Jinja Municipal Council. Now he was there, he was a committee chairperson, he went on to the executive, and after that, the Honorable Harry Kasigwa went into the election year parliament, which he won.
Yes.
Now, we all remember Honorable Harry Kasigwa was probably then was the only member of the opposition here in parliament from Eastern Uganda. The entire Eastern Uganda, the Honorable Harry Kasigwa nali mu parliament of opposition, because he was extremely articulate and very aggressive in the way he did things mu FDC. Now, when we come out from when we come from university and I'm back from Prt1 and England, the Honorable Harry Kasigwa now recruits us into the FDC. I am talking about 2001, 2002, 2003. Now, I first stood as a councillor in 2001, but naidanga independent, because I had not then been convinced enough by to join opposition politics. Now, in 2006, when I made it,
did you win?
I lost that election.
The first one you lost?
I lost that election by 51 votes to Saulo Nsongambi.
Oh, that was small.
But then I was happy that I had been able to achieve that. So in 2011, I was now full throttle into politics, into opposition politics. I was then reapproached by Medi Mbentio and Maganda Abubakar to say, please come and now stand on the FDC ticket. Having lost that election so narrowly, 2006, in 2011 you will be able to win. And indeed I won that election against my brother Saulo Nsongambi and went into council. I returned in 2016, still won the election. Then naida ku constituency election, because many of our viewers must understand nti akalulu aka councillor or city with these new local governments, new city councils, kali ku basis most of the councillors bayemererawo nga members of parliament bwe bandyemererawo. Our people also need to note nti Jinja City Council yonka in all these local governments erina 4 members of parliament representing the city. Because as a municipality, twenkani ife abalina ba members abasatu abali ba representing a municipality. We had a member of parliament for Jinja West constituency. Twaba ni member of parliament for Jinja East constituency. Twaba ni member of parliament. So abo babiri. Many of these municipalities, Mbale, Mbarara, had 1 member of parliament. IFA were quite unique. So when we became a city, amateeka ga Uganda tigaikiriza for doing away with constituencies. Of course, the members of parliament n'abakola amateeka n'abali in charge of primary legislation in Uganda. So tibasobola bona kukola kintu kisobola kuba hatinga. So the laws in Uganda or in place that are in place don't for the establishment of more constituencies, because that benefits both the both central government and the MPs at their individual basis, you know. So when I made it in 2016, I won that election, and then I was given the extra mandate to chair council as a speaker. So that is what I continue to do now. Now, having said all that and done, I am done with local government politics. I feel I have done my part. I want to imagine that younger people can now be able to come and take up the mantle and be able to produce results.
Abantu bati bakakwenda tibajja kumisinga because for the terms dobairemu, I think it is them abakuizaayo because they see the good in you.
No,
ojja balekerani olina omusika gw'oli balekera.
I'll tell you something. And as a party, FDC, ife tulikola everything possible making sure to preparing our candidates abajja okwida but replacing them before bino ebitono as we go into election ya parliament. I have taken time to prepare myself for this election. I have done many other courses again to prepare me as a member of parliament, and I'll tell you that I have been in the past couple of years. I've been able to study a diploma in law to help myself with a deeper understanding of the law. Now, a diploma in human rights, again from the Law Development Center to help me understand human rights further. And I am also an undergraduate student, again at Cavendish University, studying a bachelor's degree in international relations and diplomacy. I want to look at a career as a diplomat someday, you know, as a diplomat in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to see how we can again push our country to greater heights with a proper understanding of what is done and what is expected of a diplomat.
Honorable Nchenenzo okubuuza, before we leave that part ngoli councillor, Nenze, for example, you want to go out at the moment, right?
Yeah.
Aye bewali oyendo tukiriza bitusewa.
I'll tell you nti tubaireni a lot of challenges. One, because we are the first leadership mu city councils in Uganda. We are the pioneer leadership. Air city councils in Uganda. Now, when I became speaker here, I was again voted to represent speakers of this country, of these higher local governments, Kuchebeta, the Urban Authorities Association of Uganda. This is a 21-man executive that determines a way forward for all urban authorities in Uganda. Now, His Worship the Mayor of Jinja City Council, the Mayor of Masaka, the Mayor of Mbale, Mayor and Town Clerk of those three cities are ex-official members. They are pioneer members, and therefore they must come automatically on the executive. For me, I was voted to represent speakers, but also to represent the entire southeastern Uganda ku executive eyo, or local governments ku southeastern Uganda ku that executive. Now, there have been a lot of challenges. We were new in office. We were not in office per se, but we were new to this kind of level of doing things. This is a higher local government. We were doing things at a lower local government, a municipality. Now, I want to tell you what Jinja is about, where we have come from, where we are, and where we are headed as a city council. And I'll start with the roads, because the roads in this city are the biggest challenge that we have as a higher local government. When we were a municipality, tried to operating with 213 kilometers of roads as a former municipality. By the way, it is now a division. That former municipality is now a division. Jebeta Southern Division. Jinja Southern Division, or Jinja City now, is the best planned city in the whole of East and Central Africa. Many people will not agree with me, but I'll tell you, the way the roads in Jinja were done the drainage system, the lighting, as it was in the 60s and 70s, is the best in Eastern Central Africa. The water coverage in the former municipality is 95%. Nti ndiwozimba anywhere within the old municipality osobola connecting easily to the central sewer system. When you go to Kampala, for example, in Muyenga Hill, you will need a soak pit of yourself or for your own compound or to be able to contain that waste. You easily connect onto the central sewer. Now, when we became a city, we began to operate with 500 kilometers of roads. Now, all of us must be aware that the best way we can be able to reconstruct our roads is using the USMID project funded by the World Bank, which over the past 3, 4, 5 seasons has been able to give us an average of 2 kilometers a financial year, or 3 maximum. Now, to be able to reconstruct all the roads in this city, we need 250 years.
250 years?
Yes, because if we are doing 2 kilometers on average per year, and we need to do 500 kilometers, then we need 250 years to do. We don't plan to live that long. Now, I have always told our people at central government that Jinja, being the second largest local government, or the largest actually local government in Uganda, and second largest city in Uganda, apart from Kampala, we need a special intervention from central government. I must tell you, until we are now working on a project with Chorus Uganda to reconstruct 200 kilometers of roads in the CBD here. Of course, that is going to require a sovereign guarantee. And the sovereign guarantee must be given by central government. Now, I know that His Excellency the President of Uganda is going to visit Jinja soon. But we have also been able to say that even if we belong to the opposition, the issue of Jinja must be handled decisively and in a manner that involves all of us.
Exactly.
Because this is a place we all call home, regardless of our parties and where we belong and where we come from. So, for me, I am saying an opportunity must be availed to us to be able to tell His Excellency the President exactly the problems that affect this city. Because we know them. We have been at the helm of leadership here, and to what problems are affecting ekifo kino. Apart from abantu bale aba NRM okujja okwogera ebyebisanusa president. Nti olikola bulungi, PDM wolowolo. We want to be able to talk about the issues that really affect this place without mixing up any words. So, for me, we are now working with Chorus Uganda to see how we can generate ideas that are intended to get a loan from the United Kingdom Export Promotion Board. That's about $200 million. Because we know that the average, according to the World Bank, any road should be done at is about $1 million. So, tulowooza nti tusobola convincing president ya prevailing over parliament tusobola okufuna sovereign guarantee eyo, tufune sente dino, so that how do we pay this money back? Instead of twandikozeesa okukola enguudo over these so many years, dibenga dija direct to pay the loan that we shall have picked up from. I know that this week we should be able to sign a memorandum of understanding allowing Chorus Uganda to begin on a feasibility study that is going to cost them about $1 million, $2 million to understand the extent of the job at hand. Now, once that is done, this becomes a non-disclosure agreement. Intended to do what? To ensure that the information that Chorus Uganda collects is not given to some Chinese company or any other company free of charge by us to be able to use to do any further works there, because they are going to investigate the drainage, the stormwater drain systems, checking up the width of the roads, and our people also need to understand because how come the roads in Gulu are better done than the ones that are in Jinja? Now I need our people, our viewers, to understand one thing. Gulu has benefited from a lot of equalization grants of government and our donor community. Because of the war that took place in northern Uganda for many years, every donor runs to Gulu to bring it up to speed with what is the development in this country. So they have had Northern Uganda Reconstruction Program. They have had JICA. They have had USMID, because and the parameters Edgar was centered in Eda USMID, and many of these donor monies did three: the population, the area to be covered, and the poverty index. Now we all know Jinja, as a former municipality that we were, 23 square kilometers. Now that said and done, but Abaigulu, Bobatiama as a leadership, be expanding their municipality many years ago. So government, wherever you send resources, or even the donor, abuzanti abantu bameka bemujja okulabirira. There are so many. Area jemuli kwogera ku eriki nti kilometers 2. It is only now that government came up with the issue of these city councils that has helped us, because now we were able to add Bugembe, Mafuvira and Budondo to a tune of about 200 square kilometers okutuyamba ku expanding ku area yachi. And when you drive from the roundabout Ambakot, you will be able to notice 35 kilometers into Budondo Butagaya area of Okalimu city. So that's a huge area. And now we are asking ourselves, how do we bring that part added onto the rural part that was added onto the municipality to form a city up to standards with the rest of the city? How do the people of Bugembe, Mafubira and Budondo realize that bali mu city? We have taken steps to ensure that abantu bano bona bafutandika okufeedinga city. We have a program funded by the World Bank, Bajeta Slack, where people are paying 85,000 in Jinja North to get titles for their land.
Okay.
Because when the city comes,
only
85,000 and you get a title. Okay. Ndikoba nti tuina program nga ewebwa sente okuva mu World Bank in conjunction with the city local government. Nga mu Jinja North, especially in the Budondo area, nga tulikuira side yene da Wanyange, mpola mpola, osasule mitwalo 8 kitundu. Ng'okolagana ni area land committee je twaprove nga twalayiza wano ku city hall okufuna ekyapa ku mitwalo 8 kitundu. So I think in terms of leadership,
ekyapa ekyo mbe nendo kyogera ku kiba kyapa ki freehold oba?
No, it's a freehold title, because many of those lands, and by the way, many of those ideas are now determined by the land board.
Okay.
For me, what I know is that your land is titled, whether leasehold or freehold. At 85,000 shillings. Now, you will also realize that we had a problem of land grabbing.
So much.
Jinja. We have had to sit at many meetings okutola ochebeta land grabbing. And I keep telling people and teasing people that nze, I don't own a meter of land in Jinja city. Be it in Budondo, be it in Bugembe, or no, I'm not proud of that. But I know that the one thing that can separate me from my voters, over the two things that can separate me, baba bachala baiwe na itaka lyaibwe. All this land has ownership. eriri mu city muno. So kasita okozesa a privileged position to try and obtain that land, you rest assured you are stepping onto somebody era omuntu oyo ayida kupanishinga one day. And the best way to do that is wale ku ballot paper. Kasita oyingira mu itaka, you rest assured toyida kufuna obuzibu n'abalonzi. Because word moves extremely quickly. So we have been able to constitute area land committees, Jinja North, Jinja South. We have constituted it. We are about to swear it in. We still have a couple of issues here and there, but we hope they will get sorted soon. We have a land board, Air City, that is well anchored now to help people sort out the issue of land in this city. So ekintu ekya land grabbing, we have completely done away with it.
Okay.
Now, I needed to explain something. Many people understand the kind of traction yaliwo when I became speaker. And of course, my brother Kasoro coming through completely new in the area, local government, a lot of people would have expected fireworks.
Actually, that is what I was going to ask nti engeri gye weeddamu bwa speaker muli kudiringa mu tetolifuna ino buzibu timuli. How are you working nga boli kujja otuyinonola?
No, I'll be honest with you. No local government can move forward nga speaker tayogera na mayor.
True.
Olikibona? Because the Local Government Act is extremely clear. Now, we had a lot of constraints in the beginning, but again, we were able to sit down and with the new town city clerk, Mwami Ruwanga, to say, gentlemen, it is going to become extremely difficult if you operate the way you are operating. We need to sit down, determine what we need to do to save this city, and once I have your consent, Mwembi, I'll be able to move. Now, I'll tell you what the law is. The number one job of a town clerk, Jinja City Council, is to implement lawful resolutions of council. Now, those, or a council where those decisions are made, is the highest decision-making body of any local government, at city level especially. Now, need divisions, their budgets, for example, and their decisions feed into the decisions of the city council. Olichibona, anybody will reason, you know, we are autonomous in nature as a lower local government, but the higher local government, the city, is the supervising local government to the mayors at the divisions and to the town clerks at the division. So once the mayor, for example, pronounces himself on any matter, nzenga speaker, that is not the position of council. That is the personal decision of the mayor. So then the town clerk are getting into a mix-up. What am I supposed to implement? The decisions of the political head or the decisions of council? That the answer there is very easy. Council is the highest decision-making body. Now, you can understand there, until decisions over pronouncements of the mayor must feed into those of council. Which council I prevail over.
Through the speaker.
And I'll tell you something. For example, you know that only the speaker has powers to invite anybody to council.
Okay.
Not the town clerk, not the mayor. But the mayor is the political head. The mayor is the political head. So, because I wanted you to understand the impact of a good relationship between the mayor and the speaker. The job of the town clerk becomes extremely easy bwe tubanga tuli kwogera the same thing. So, and that is exactly what we did. I sat down with Mwami Kasolo namukoba nti, you know me, I've been here for some time. I need you to recompose yourself. Let us sit down and agree on how we are going to work. Otherwise, tujja kumala emyaka 1 ngezira kye tukoze. Gladly, Mwami Kasolo yaikiriza, and he accepted me as somebody who could mentor him into ebintu bino. And now from that day going forward, he has to consult, I have to consult him. What are your sentiments about this? What do you think about this? How do we go about this? Because for me, and through my various trainings, I understand that sometimes consulting somebody can be a motivating factor. Even when you have your mind made up and you go and consult your junior or your senior, they consider, they thank God that you are working with them, you know. They are happy that you are working and consulting, you know. And in many, many more ways than one, that person will only say, oh, I think you have a good idea, let's proceed with that. But then they are not going to be able to say, you know, for me, he didn't tell me. I didn't know about this. I have no idea about what he's talking about. So we were able to sit down, and especially after the fireworks of the constitution of the land board, we sat down with many people. We sat down with many people, the IGG, the Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, so many people, the Right Honorable Justin Kasule Lumumba, advising us and saying, this, you can only have to talk as a good way forward. You are not going to fight enough. Yeah, absolutely. So we have been able to make the achievements that we have made over the years because we have been working together and consulting each other and continuing to educate each other about one thing or the other. And I must tell you, I at some point was amazed because Mayor Kasolo Alton is a fast learner. I must tell you that. He's a fast learner. He came into something that he was completely new about, but he quickly learned. And I think, in my opinion, we have done well.
Okay. Any challenges so far, Demo, again in your term of being in office this time around, this term?
Yeah, I'll tell you, one of the challenges is that Ife, Tulibana, Bamwidana Nina, we are from the opposition.
Yeah, true.
Of course, Mayor Kasolo coming from NUP and me coming from FDC. Now, of course, you understand that the majority of the people we are working with are NRM. Some of them might be technical, but in many, many more ways than one, abantu bano ba NRM. So until somebody sits down to understand what we are as individuals, it is very difficult to work with these people. But for us, we have continuously been able to exhibit or to say to these people that what matters most to us is a way forward for Jinja. Because we are born and bred here. I am born and bred here. My children are not going to go to... Even when I spend a night in Kampala, I don't feel right. I want to drive back in the middle of the night. And yet I have to go back the next day. So for me, this is the place I call home. So it's been quite amazing and difficult. And I'll tell you, for example, we have the president coming here. But I was listening to somebody and saying, oh, you know, they've told us you cannot meet the president because you are from opposition. And then I asked him, who told you that? Who told you that? Because if I am invited as Speaker, Jinja City Council, I'll honestly be able to meet the president and tell him in his face exactly what we should do, and in a collective manner to move Jinja to another level. That has nothing to do with the fact that I'm from FDC. It has nothing to do with that. Yeah, but as you know, baganda baife mu NRM baba mu bintu bya kwetega buli sawa. They want to surround the president and be able to only talk about things that impress the president without coming out openly to say this is not going right. And I'll give you an example. Government of Uganda spent 42 billion Uganda shillings during the Matip project to construct Jinja Central Market, the biggest Matip project in Uganda. 42 billion of Central Market, 4 acres of a market.
That is so much money.
Now, that market at some point and recently, I am talking about less than a year ago, kali katuse point nga kaleta $1 million a month. But that market has 6,000 stalls and has 18 toilets. What happened? But vendors bali bekola mu akatale omulimu. Bakola ki? Bakola kibeta Vendors Association. Abantu bano bali bakunganye sente for their personal begabania. Now, ekintu kino kyatandikira ku ministry ya local government, and indeed the Minister for Local Government came here, visited. Najja naye ni Right Honorable Rukia Nakadamu. Najja nabo mu katale. Twasookera mu Napier market. Twavujja mu main market. Because ekyali kibaleese wano nga babakobye nti abantu ba NRM bali kubatulugunya kubatoola ku streets, bali kubalobera okutoola ku streets. Jinja erikola trade order eri kuleeta obuzibu bw'amaanyi, abantu babaire batundira ku streets, bafuna sente da PDM. Nakoba minister, this is a misinformation. Please come to Jinja and find out for yourself kiki kiri ku happening. Yasooka mu Napier. Yababuuza nti muli bameka abatundira mu Napier market. Tulinga 3,000. Tyo muli 3,000. Ntiye. Abantu basasula sente imeka mu katale wano olunaku, for example. Tusasule nusu 10,000. Musasule nusu 10,000. Ntiye. Musasule sente imeka ani running attende yo wano. Nti uno yasituka. Yamubuuza nti osasula sente imeka mu council. After collecting 1,000 from 3,000 people. Yali azira answer.